First of all, I wish to, in fact, to mention that I used to guarantee, in fact, that all my actions represent nothing but a selfless sense of duty to my people, to my Romanian people. And of course, I have a dream of freedom and dignity for the Romanian people. I was denied by the globalist mafia, which they control this region like a colony. And of course, it's the same, let's say, intelligence group also present in this region, as well as the group which they try to destroy the campaign of President Trump as well. It was just a copy-paste with different subjects, including that I was falsely accused about foreign interference, particularly, of course, the Russian interference, exactly as President Trump was accused in the past. Nevertheless, there are not evidence. And of course, related with this foreign interference, I was just to mention that all the system, 100% in Romania, was and it is coordinated and controlled by foreign interference. Before these elections was controlled by the former Secretary of State from the United States, Blinken, and all the neocons. And after the President Trump and Trump-Vance administration is totally controlled by France. So actually the current Romanian president today is President of France, Macron. So Soros Macron, if I can say. Yeah.
Yes.
In any case, the point is that very clear, I was an outsider, and because I was an outsider, they didn't control or didn't, let's say, had any suspicion in the early beginning, in the first round. About this I'm speaking. And my narrative was totally devoted to my people and was totally related with what we can do alone, how can be Romanian independence. And with this narrative, including a program which I present for Romania, food, water, and energy, I succeed in the first round on the first place. And in the moment when you are outsider, of course, they alert immediately because they realize they can lose the power and the money. Moreover, the most important point was in the moment when I pronounced the word peace. They immediately alert in the moment when I said peace because they need war. And this was the main important point. After the first round, everything, let's say, the system was alerted immediately. And everybody knows that the Romanian people that was foreign interference, which they control totally the situation. And of course, the system in Romania, just they put into practice what they decide, in a sense to ban me immediately. So in the second round, was started in December 6, with Romanian living outside of the country. We had 3 days voting process. So we start on 6, was 7 and 8 in Romania. So in the day of 6, in the afternoon, they cancel totally the elections. The process was started in the morning, until afternoon, I had almost 70%. And they stopped, they canceled. So the second round of the election was illegally and unconstitutionally canceled. They stolen the votes totally. And they accused me, as I said, they falsely accused me about Russian interference. Of course, there are not evidence, and until today, when me and you, we have this interview, is no evidence at all. Just to underline that it's copy-paste as President Trump suffered a lot during his campaign. Absolutely the same situation. They didn't come with any new stuff, just the same one. But in any case, they consider that they don't have to come back anymore to the second round. And they promote another elections, which they are coming in the month of May this year, so in 1 month from now, which is another fraud, even bigger than before. This I wish to be very clear. I made an application also for the second elections. They blocked me again. And in this moment, legally, I have not the right to participate to any campaign for the position as President of Romania. I wish to mention to you the most important point, which in fact they alarm them. And the most important is peace. Peace and freedom. Because to the second one, just I want to say that they have fear of free Romania more than fear a war. This I wish to be very clear. The second one, the most important topic on earth is peace. What kind of peace do I mean? Genuine peace, exactly as President Kennedy said in 1963 in front of American University. It was a fantastic speech, and today is reality. This peace, this kind of peace, is the peace which makes life on earth happy. Children happy, families happy, happiness in general. What we have today, in 1 or 2 minutes I can tell you, every third person says today, I'm hungry. Every second person today says, I'm thirsty. And almost everybody says, I fear. This is a most important point of control of them. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself, said President Roosevelt in 1933. And this is absolutely exactly today, the fear. So, confident and unafraid, we must labor towards for the strategy of peace. This is a most important point. And I wish to ask you one point also myself. You know, we know how much costs the war, but do you know how much costs the peace? How much cost? How much cost it? Because everybody, we are talking about peace, but it's not implemented. So the only chance in the real sense, which I can see, and this was the main important point in Romania, which I have seen also, not only what I said myself, but what they said Romanian people, is President Trump. It's the only chance for everybody to arrive at peace, to back to democracy, not only in the United States, everywhere. And it's a chance also for Europe that we have President Trump, period. This is all. a lot of things just for one person, but of course we are together. And I want to tell you that not only the Americans, citizens, they vote President Trump. Also the Romanians, they vote President Trump because we are thinking about that, we pray for that, and all the time we think to have President Trump in this position, because otherwise the situation could be very critical, related particularly that we want peace. And by the way, all my campaign was just concentrate on peace. And I was accused by media why I'm talking about peace, because they need war. All the time was this, all the campaign. I spoke about peace, they said war. I spoke about peace, they said war. They did not expect me to win the first round because I said about peace. And the people, they are looking for peace, of course. During the campaign, they asked me only for war, only permanently. And permanently, I spoke about peace. So this was all the campaign. And of course, another point, very, very, very important, was my program, Food, Water and Energy, because I present to change the economic system of Romania. And this was based, as everybody knows, about Hamilton ideology. I wish to make a Hamiltonian Romania, in a sense, to be totally independent, to provide performance economy, but depends only by your natural resources, not by debt, you know?
Yes.
So exactly this was the situation. So we can be a Hamiltonian powerhouse in Eastern Europe side, or also in Europe, just because we have to follow the best which we had in the world. And one of the best which I recognize myself is the founding father of the United States, Alexander Hamilton. So this was my presentation, and for this I was accused that I'm not good enough for them.
Well, you were prevented, I mean, your democracy was shut down, but if you're against war and against debt, you had to know that those are the two issues that really matter to the globalists, war and debt. They're in favor of both. So were you surprised when you were accused of being a Russian agent and kicked out of Romanian politics?
You know, they cannot, how I can say, it's impossible to change so fast, you know. So I can tell you what they did. It's not surprise for me. They are not destroying the democracy. They are destroying lives. And it's not about democracy. It's about setting people free. This is very important to know. And this showed to us one thing, that democracy, we have not democracy, because it's impossible to find so many things today and to realize that in fact where we had a democracy is not anymore. In fact, we have not. In 35 years, we had no democracy, you know.
What role did U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken play in Romanian politics?
So everybody knows that was a foreign intervention, and particularly from Secretary of State Blinken, that he intervened in the elections and simply dictate what the system have to do. And it's absolutely, you know, everybody knows about this situation, including, of course, President Macron and Maia Sandu from Moldova as well. they intervene. But the most important was Secretary of State Blinken.
What did he do and say that affected your election and Romanian politics?
Well, simply was an intervention. They don't very clear. They don't need free Romania. To be mentioned that the largest military base of NATO is in Romania. Probably you know about that.
Yes.
And of course, they want to launch the World War III from Romania. And with this situation, of course, they can involve all Europe and also United States. So these, they have interest. They have interest in war.
What do you mean they want to launch World War III from Romania?
Because let me tell you how is the situation. It's a key gateway which can cancel, can protect the humanity to go in the war, or can go to the war. Why? Because it's the largest boundary which Romania has with Ukraine. We discussed about 380 miles only for Romania. In compare, Poland has almost 330 miles and Hungary around 80 miles. Geographically, it's very important as well. So the largest boundary, again, for Ukraine is Romania. And in this situation, of course, Romania is the asset for European Union, for Macron, in order to launch the war. Strategically, it's important. So number one is the most important strategical point, Romania. Number two is a security framework for the Black Sea. Number three is a regional influence for Moldova for the Black Sea, and also it's a leverage for economic and for energy situation. And they know about that. They know very well about that. They want to turn NATO on an offensive force. And we know very well that NATO is defensive organization. And this was my point all the time. First of all, I said it's not our war. We have nothing to do. The national interest is diplomatic negotiation, and we can be a peace mediator, Romania. And they don't like that. Because they want to, of course, they want to cover many things, which even today we don't know exactly what. But they're pushing for war. And of course, my position was exactly against them, was totally contrary to them. So the most important is that the people are behind me, and all the Romanian people, of course, the majority of Romanian people, of course, they have this position against any intervention and any participation for war. They know my position, and of course, for this reason, they cancel immediately any way for me in order to arrive to candidates for presidents. Even that today, I have, even now, when me and you were talking, we have this interview, I have more than 50% of the voters are from my side.
What is your next move? Are you worried that these same forces will try and put you in jail, in prison?
Well, was a subject that I was arrested in traffic for almost 6 hours. I have almost 3 or 4 files. But we don't give up. And I'm sure one point that if United States particularly wants an allies, not a vessel, an allies, very strong, they have to support the patriots, particularly from Romania, and not the Brussels bureaucrats. So we are sure that in one day everything can be turned. Today or tomorrow, but will happen. Romania right now is the most important country in the world. It's Alpha and Omega for a new era of peace, of dignity, of love, prosperity. And I'm saying this because it's a boundary between bad and good. And this boundary has to be closed. Because if we close this door for war, that means peace. If we open this key gate, as I said in the beginning, it's a war. And we don't have to have this. I mean, my opinion is that this war is a shame of the humanity.
Yes.
And it's there is not any rational human justification for endorsing war. Doesn't exist. So what they don't like is if Romania breaks free, will follow other countries. Understand me?
Yes.
So this they don't need. Will be a dominoes fall. Okay? And this terrifies them, that one country, particularly Romania, to be free. But this is our values, which we want to share. This is our flag, which we want to share with the United States and also with other countries. Peace, democracy, and freedom. We don't give up. This is our values, and we have to go straight to that. Even the situation looks now complicated, in one day can be changed, because we have been in our land since time immemorial. So we are here from the early beginning of the history. And all our history is played by heroes, by kings devoted to the country and to the land. Romanian people is a brave people, it's a great people. And we discussed also that exactly like MAGA, Make America Great Again, we said make Romania great again.
Yes.
Because we strongly believe in our power, we strongly believe in us, we strongly believe that this is our land, which we didn't receive from Brussels or from other people, from other countries. We receive from God with His power of love. We trust in God. We're setting on energy resources. We love our families. We believe in Christianity and in Christian families. We believe in our land. So we shall win. Sooner or later, we shall win. Of course, it's a matter of time. And I can understand, again, that you cannot change the system in 1 hour. My narrative exactly was this during the campaign. I don't want to change the people. I want to change the system.
Yes.
And for this, they are afraid about me and afraid about the people which are behind me. So I recognize only one important partner, United States, particularly in the moment when we have this administration Trump-Vance. And President Trump is our guarantee that he can solve the situation in Europe. He can solve the situation as peace everywhere because, I can tell you that President Trump is not only a leader in the United States, it's a leader in the world, because a real leader, in fact, save lives, don't send people to death. And if we know that, and if we believe on that, we strongly believe on that, we shall succeed sooner or later. For this reason, I said that Romania is the most important country in the world. And I know very well what I'm saying, because it's exactly the key gates to close the door or to open the door, to open the war, to close the war or to open the war. So we can play a key role in a diplomatic negotiation, particularly in the moment when the communication is strong. And the communication is really strong between President Trump and President Putin. This we know very well. If the communication is strong, we shall find a way in order to arrive for peace, because everybody will need peace. And it's incredible that in the third millennium to have such a situation which demonstrate to all of us, to the humanity, that we lost the most important piece of power receiving from God for the human being, love. Of course, you have to negotiate everything very clearly. But more than that, you have to understand the humanity from us. And here we are today. We have to understand by our consciousness the humanity from us and to don't lose the humanity from us. You asked me, how did they kill democracy? Let me give you one example. So we are facing a serious violation of basic human rights, including political persecutions. Because our supporters, and the supporters particularly of my candidacy, including vulnerable people like pensioners, like single mothers, like young families, they have been abusively fined with €1,000 and subjected to home raids by economic or military units just based on posted on social media. And I want to tell you that one pensioner in Romania receives around $200, $300 per month, and they receive a fine $1,000, $2,000, just because they post on the social media, sentence to support freedom, to support democracy, to support myself, and in fact to support peace. So freedom speech today is under attack, under serious attack, and severely restricted. And this is not good at all, including media, very important people. They are blocked on the social media for any sentence they want to say. A recent government emergency ordinance bans electoral content on the social media unless the candidates for this campaign registered, and be careful, political party members, you know. So, with another words, doesn't exist freedom of speech in Romania anymore.
No.
Moreover, the Romanian lives abroad. They also have been abusively restricted. They had 3 days of voting period, and this was suddenly cut by just few hours, limited by the Romanian hours voting only. So the system tried to control everything, exactly like you remember very well in this pandemia COVID, which they want to control us beside any other things. Also, they want to control the vote. And in the end, I can tell you that the most important is that we expose with this situation is corruption. You ask me how I can feel, how is the situation? I feel good because we expose the corruption after so many years. We expose them, the dramatical situation where we are. That in fact, we have not any more democracy because it's impossible, even that was a foreign interference or other interference by whatever, because I said I was based on voluntary support in my campaign. But even was an interference, how you can destroy the democracy in few weeks? This does mean that we have not democracy anymore. And here we are. Moreover, of course, they don't like the position, the system of President Trump, and in general, the position of administration Trump-Vance, and they are totally related with what European Union does right now. And you know very well that European Union established globalism government with unelected people. Even Ursula von der Leyen is not elected person, was just nominated. So we have to fight globally. This I wish to mention. Globally, we cannot accept just islands of sovereignty in the ocean of globalists. We have to understand that we need a global network of sovereignty countries. So we have to be a union of countries which we fight for sovereignty. Because the flag of peace, democracy, and freedom, which United States today has, we have to keep also this flag. And all the countries around us. And in fact, all of us, we have to work and to fight for peace. Not just to stay to wait a decision from someone. It's in our capacity to demonstrate that the human being has a power to fight for peace and for democracy. Otherwise, we are just slaves. You know, I was accused that I want to kick out Romania from European Union and from NATO. So my answer all the time was the following. I like the alliance only if they serve the nations, not to enslave it. I wish to be very clear. Not to enslave it. In this moment, we are just a client state. Just a client state. And this must end. Because we are not slaves. We are free people. And I said to you from the early beginning, I have a dream. And my dream is freedom, dignity for the Romanian people. For this we have to fight. And we don't give up, because we know that it's in our power, and together with God we can succeed. Because God is with us. And it's normal to be this situation, because show us how wrong was this system and how many problems and how I can say violation of the human rights they did until today. So it's very important that the corruption was exposed and all the situation was exposed, because we are living under a cartel of censorship and lawfare. They are using the law just for them. You understand me?
Yes.
Not for the people. Exactly as President Trump had all these problems in the campaign, because censorship is a political police. A political persecution and legal abuse, which we are facing today. It's a situation which is incredible to have in a third millennium, to have in the situation when we consider that we are in the European Union, we are NATO members, we have a common understanding about what we have to do. No, this is not. And we have to change the system, exactly as I proposed to change the economic system, exactly as I said about Hamilton presence and the ideology. We have to change all these things. Otherwise, we remain just as slaves in our own country. We have rich natural resources. We have to consider that we have to base on our natural resources, not to debt. Because what they offer to us, they offer technocracy and debt. And I propose to the Romanian people and to other countries freedom and dignity. This is my offer, instead of technocracy and debt. If they prefer this, they prefer because they abuse all these people so many years. And exactly as I said, they have fear a free country, as Romania could be. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Georgescu. Thank you for spending this time and explaining yourself, and Godspeed.